I want to talk today about why would you choose a flat back abdominal exercise versus a round back abdominal exercises, right? So obviously in the Pilates repertoire we have a gazillion abdominal exercises, or trunk stability or core strength exercises. Some of them have a rounded spine, some of them have a straight spine. What's better? Why would I choose one over the other? So just so that we're clear what we're talking about, let me show you. So I'm on the ladder barrel, and you have options here. You could do around the back, right, where you just round your back over the barrel and roll back up. So it's more of a roll up or a roll down in the short box abs. Or you could do the same thing where you're just hinging back and you keep your spine straight from the top of the head all the way to the pelvis, nice and straight. Inhale, come back. Let's start with the flat back version. If I have a client that is a little kyphotic, so if your natural posture is rounded, right, so your shoulder blades are protracted or too far apart, then a round back version wouldn't make much sense because you're already rounded, right? So adding to that rounding is just not going to be very helpful. It's going to be easier for the client, but it's not going to create the change in the posture that they are probably looking for. If you have somebody who's very weak and who sort of collapses, you constantly have to remind them to stand really tall, and then they lift, but then as soon as they forget about it, their whole body sort of collapses down. It'll be super easy for them to do the roll down. They just drape over that barrel and it's like nothing. It seems very easy for them. They need a flat back because they need the eccentric length in their abdominals that keeps them tall, so that they build the stamina, the muscle endurance to keep that tall, upright spine throughout the day. So definitely flat back. If you have a client who tells you that they have something going on with their spine, and either they're not sure what it is, or maybe they tell you their diagnosis, but you don't know exactly what that is, choose the flat back version over a round back version. Most of the time it's just safer, because spinal flexion could potentially create a problem for the disc, or it could press against a nerve. And then also when you round, often we don't encourage the flexion or the collapsing, but we lose the axial length, right? So in a flat back version, it's easier to keep the length. In a round back version, we're supposed to also keep the length in the spine, but it's actually harder to do. So let's go to the round back version. Why would you choose the rounded back or the rolling version of abdominal exercises? One would be to improve spinal flexion. So if you have somebody with a very, very stiff spine, the draping of the barrel or the rounding is actually going to mobilize their spine. So that's a good thing. If a client does not have enough core strength to support their straight spine, their neutral spine or flat back appropriately. So if somebody does flat back, but then really they're starting to arch because their abdominal wall is not strong enough, then a round back version is going to be easier for them. Certain spine pathologies have a flexion bias, meaning the client feels better with a rounded back. And they often know that. I get a lot of people coming to me saying, oh, if my back feels better if I round it, or my PT told me to always keep my back round. Listen to that obviously and choose your round back version. Don't push into the flat back until they're more comfortable with the exercise. So once they've practiced the exercise several times and they really know what they're doing, then you can maybe move slightly away from the round back and come more into a flat back. You can inch your way to it, right? It doesn't always have to be either or. It can be, often it's an in-between. So you just take baby steps into the flat back until you find that they can support it. And then last but not least, if you have a person that's healthy, that doesn't have any spine issues going on, they're absolutely fine, nothing bothers them, they just want to work, then I would look at what's harder. Which version does the client work harder? Because that's the one that they need more. The version that's harder for you is the one where your body has to adapt more, where you're going to see more of the change that you're looking for.